Hello everyone. So our today's topic of discussion is geometric progression. Okay. So we have already done arithmetic progression and we have also done questions on special series from the progression and sequence part. Now today what we'll be discussing is we'll be discussing geometric progression. Okay. So again we'll be understanding the basics of geometric progressions and based upon that then we'll be solving the questions. Okay. So let's begin. Okay. So first question first. When are the terms of a series said to be in geometric progression? When are the terms of a series said to be in geometric progression? The terms of a series are said to be in geometric progression whenever there is a common ratio between any two successive terms taken in the same order. The terms of a series are said to be in geometric progression whenever there is a common ratio between any two successive terms taken in that order. For example, if you say that my terms are like 4, 8, 16, 32, 64 and so on and so forth. You can see that 8 by 4 is 2, 16 by 8 is also 2, 32 by 16 it's also 2. So you can see that there is a common ratio. There is a common ratio between any two successive terms taken in the same order. So whenever this happens, then the terms of a series are said to be in geometric progression. You can take another example. Let's say you have 3, 1, 1 by 3, 1 by 9, 1 by 27, 1 by 81, 1 by 243 and so on and so forth. So you can see that the common ratio will be 1 by 3, 1 by 3 by 1, that is also 1 by 3, then 1 by 9 by 1 by 3, that is also 1 by 3 and so on and so forth. Again, there is a common ratio between any two successive terms taken in the same order. So whenever there is a common ratio or a constant ratio between any two successive terms taken in the same order, then the terms of a series are said to be in geometric progression. Then the terms of the series are said to be in geometric progression. Just remember this, okay? Let me give you one more example. So let's suppose you have terms such as 5 minus 25, 125 minus 625 and so on and so forth. So you'll come to know that the common ratio here is it's minus 5. So you can have a negative common ratio also. It's not that the common ratio can only be positive, it can be negative also. It can be positive, negative, it can be fraction, it can be integers, it can be anything. It just have to be a common ratio, that's it. Okay, nothing else. Okay, now remember that the first term of geometric progression is represented by the letter A. The first term is represented by the letter A. The common ratio is represented by the letter R. The first term is represented by the letter A. The common ratio is represented by the letter R. So the terms in geometric progression are represented as A, AR, AR square, AR cube, AR to the power 4, AR to the power 5 and so on and so forth up to AR to the power n minus 1. Up to AR to the power n minus 1. Now again, why n minus 1? Because you can see that in total I have taken n terms. So I'm using like A n times, but R starts from the second term. So in the second term you have R power 1, in third term you have R power 2, in fourth term you have R power 3. So in nth term, this is the nth term. In the nth term, you're gonna have R to the power n minus 1. You're gonna have R to the power n minus 1. Okay. Now, this expression The last one, this is known as the general term of GP. This is known as the general term of GP, which is also known as the nth term of GP. This is known as the general term of GP or the nth term of GP. So A sub n is A into R to the power n minus 1. That is A into R to the power n minus 1. Now again, this term, this formula or this relationship, however you want to put this up, is used to calculate typically three things. You can calculate any nth term using this formula. Like for example, if you want to calculate the 12th term of GP, then A12 will become A into R to the power 12 minus 1. So that is A into R to the power 11. That will become A into R to the power 11. If you want to calculate 17th term, then A17th will become A into R to the power 17 minus 1. That is A into R to the power 16. Want to calculate 35th term, then A35 is A into R to the power 35 minus 1. That is A into R to the power 34. So this formula, using this formula, you can calculate any nth term. You can calculate any nth term. You can also calculate the last term of GP. You can also calculate the last term of the GP. So if you have the first term, you have the common ratio, and if you have the total number of terms, if you have the first term, the common ratio and the total number of terms, then you can also calculate the last term. Okay, and you can also calculate the number of terms using this formula. You can also calculate the number of terms. If you have the last term, the first term, and the common ratio, then you can also calculate the value of n. That is also quite feasible. So bottom line is that in a relationship you have 4 variables, 3 of them will be given to you. You're required to calculate the fourth one. That's the bottom line. Okay, 3 things will be given to you. You are supposed to calculate the fourth one, and that's it. Nothing else is required. All right. So now apart from this, we have a formula to calculate sum. The formula to calculate sum is A into within bracket R to the power n minus 1 divided by R minus 1. A into R to the power n minus 1 divided by R minus 1. Now in most of the books, let me first remove this. Yeah. In most of the books, you'll find that this formula is applicable when mod of R is greater than 1. When mod of R is greater than 1. If mod of R is less than 1, then the formula for sum becomes A 1 minus R to the power n divided by 1 minus R. It becomes A into 1 minus R to the power n divided by 1 minus R. However, just remember one of them, that's more than sufficient. Just remember one of them, that's more than sufficient. Okay, understand why. Now what they have done is, in order to come to the second formula from the first one, what they have done is they have taken a negative common from both in numerator and denominator. So if I take this first expression, then this will become A into R to the power n minus 1 divided by R minus 1. If I take a negative common, then this will become A into, you can take a negative common, this will become 1 minus R to the power n divided by negative 1 minus R. These two will cancel and you'll get the same formula. Also understand, see, if mod of R is less than 1, if mod of R is less than 1, and you use this above formula, and you use this, the first formula, the above one, you'll get your numerator as negative, you'll also get your denominator as negative. Okay, because the mod of R is less than 1. Mod of R less than 1 basically means R will lie between 1 and minus 1. R will lie between 1 and minus 1. So your numerator will be negative, your denominator will also be negative. So both negative will automatically give you a positive result. Either way, remember one of them, it really doesn't matter. Okay, really doesn't matter. So two things you need to remember, sorry, three things you need to remember. What is GP? First of all, whenever your terms have a common ratio or a constant ratio. Second thing, the general term of GP, which is A sub n, which is A into R to the power n minus 1. There are three things you can calculate, or the bottom line is four variables in one equation, three of them will be given to you, you will be required to calculate the fourth one. That's the bottom line. Next is the formula to calculate the sum, which is already given to you on your screen. These are the three basic things regarding geometric progression. Now, another important aspect regarding geometric progression which you need to know, and that is, like, if you remember when I taught you arithmetic progression, I told you that sum of the first term and the last term, sum of the first term and the last term is equal to sum of the second term and second last term, then sum of third term and third last term, fourth term and fourth last term. In case of GP, what happens is product of first term product of first and last product of first and last term is equal to product of second and second last is equal to product of third and third last is equal to product of fourth and fourth last, and so on and so forth. You can prove that also. Okay, so for example, let's suppose you have terms such as AR square, AR cube up to AR to the power n minus 1. So multiply, or let me write couple of last terms also. So AR square, AR to the power n minus 3, AR to the power n minus 2, and AR to the power n minus 1. So multiply first and the last term. So that is A into R to the power n minus 1. So this will give you A square into R to the power n minus 1. Multiply second and second last. So that is AR into A into R to the power n minus 2. So that is again become A square. Now this is R to the power n minus 2. So you're going to add the powers because the bases are equal. So into R to the power n minus 1. So you're going to have AR square into AR to the power n minus 3, which is A square into R to the power n minus 1 again. So in this case, the product of the first and the last is equal to product of second and second last is equal to product of third and third last, and so on and so forth. Okay. So this is like the very basics of geometric progression which you need to know. Now, whenever you talk about geometric progression, there are two types of series which you will come across. Whenever you talk about geometric progression, there are basically two types of series that will come across. The two types of series are known as converging series and diverging series. The two types of series are known as converging series and diverging series. Converging is basically like you use that word like converge at a point. Okay, so things keep on becoming smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. That is what is meant by converging at a point. So whenever you say that you have a converging geometric progression, then remember that mod of R is always less than 1. Remember that mod of R is always less than 1. Mod of R is always less than 1. Whenever you have a diverging series, so this will always give you mod of R greater than 1. This will always give you mod of R greater than 1. This will always give you mod of R greater than 1. Okay. Now, in case of GP, when we talk about geometric progression, there's a concept of infinite GP. There's a concept of infinite GP. that is infinite geometric progression. You would come across questions, or you would have already come across questions on infinite geometric progression. Now whenever they're going to ask you a question on infinite GP, it will always be from diverging series. Sorry, my mistake. It will always be from the converging series, which is going to converge at a point. It will always be from a converging series. For example, you're going to have series, converging series. You can have examples such as 4, 2, 1, half, 1 by 4, 1 by 8, 1 by 16, and so on and so forth. So you can see that it's converging at a point. The values are becoming smaller and smaller, smaller and smaller. Diverging is like, for example, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, and so on and so forth. This is known as diverging. The values are becoming bigger and bigger. Now if we use our logic, we would also realize that you can't calculate the sum for infinite diverging series. You can't calculate the sum, because if it's an infinite diverging series, the numbers will keep on increasing and your sum has to be infinite. Like after 64 it will be 128, then 256, then 512, then 1024, then 2048, then 4096, and so on and so forth. It will keep on continuing. Okay, but in case of converging, the value becomes smaller, 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 smaller. So you can do the approximation. Okay, right. Now let's understand how can we calculate the sum for infinite GP. How can we calculate the sum for infinite GP? Now the formula to calculate the sum is equal to A into r to the power n minus 1 divided by r minus 1. That is A into r to the power n minus 1 divided by r minus 1. Now I have infinite series. Which means n is tending to infinity. N tending to infinity means n is a very, 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 very big number. Okay, and mod of r is less than 1, which basically means that the value of r is between minus 1 and 1, which means the value of r is between minus 1 and 1. So let's take one of the examples. Let's take the value of r to be 1 by 2. 1 by 2 is a value which lies between minus 1 and 1. Now if I take r to be 1 by 2, and raise this 1 by 2 to the power infinity, think about this. If I have 1 by 2 to the power infinity, can I say this expression will approximately be equal to 0? Because when you say half to the power infinity, then this will become 1 by 2 into 2 into 2 into 2 into 2 into up till infinite times, yes or no? And if you're going to divide 1 by 2 like infinite number of times, then obviously it will approach to 0. I'm not saying it's going to be exactly 0, but it's going to approach to 0, yes or no? It's going to approach 0, which means you can say that this value here, this value is roughly 0. I can use that approximation and I can say this will be equal to 0. That means the formula for to calculate the sum is A minus 1 divided by r minus 1, which can also be written as A divided by 1 minus r. So sum for infinite converging GP is equal to A divided by 1 minus r, is equal to A divided by 1 minus r. That's the answer, or that's the another relationship which you need to remember. Right, so this is more or less the theory part that you need to know. There is nothing else for me to teach you in this. Now we simply have to solve the questions. Okay, so I'm going to show you a question on the screen, like whatever we have discussed. Based upon that, You're going to solve the question. So pause the video and try this question, please. Pause the video and try this question. Alright, let's see what this question is. A sequence P consists of 50 numbers arranged in ascending order. The first term in the sequence is 25. In this sequence, for the first 14 terms, the ratio of the term to the next term is a fixed constant. Now this line here indicates that the terms are in GP. This line indicates that terms are in GP, because it says that in this sequence can be any sequence, it doesn't have to be GP always. In this sequence, for the first 14 terms, the ratio of the term to the next term is constant. The ratio of the term to the next term is constant. Okay, that's why all 15 terms are in GP. The ratio of the term to the next term, the next term to the 14th term will automatically be the 15th term. Okay, that's why the 15 terms are in GP. Last term of the sequence is 4 times the first term. What is the 8th term in the sequence? All right. So my last term is 15th term. So I can say A 15th will be equal to A into R to the power 15 minus 1. This will give me A into R to the power 14. Now last term is 4 times the first term, which means A 15 is equal to 4 times A. So A into R to the power 14 is equal to 4 times A, or R to the power 14 is 4. R to the power 14 is 4. Now I can do square root on both the sides. If I'm going to do square root on both the sides, I'm going to get R to the power 7 is equal to 2. Okay, if you do not know how would I come to this, so you can, it's R to the power 14. If I'm going to do square root, that's like to the power 1 by 2, and that's 4 to the power 1 by 2. So this can be written as R to the power 14 into 1 by 2. So this cancels and this becomes 7, and this here becomes 2. So R to the power 7 is 2. Now the question is, you need to find the 8th term. So 8th term is A8, which is A into R to the power 8 minus 1. So A8 is A into R to the power 7. Now what is A? A is 25. What is R to the power 7? That's 2. Multiply them, you'll get your answer as 50. So what is the 8th term in the sequence? The 8th term in the sequence is 50, and that's your answer to this question. And that's your answer to this question. Alright, let's move on to question number 2. Pause the video and try this one, please. Alright, so which term of the geometric progression 4 root 2 8 is 64 root 2? Which term is 64 root 2? Now in this case, the first term is given as 4. I have to calculate the common ratio, so that will be the second term divided by the first term, which will be equal to root 2. And the nth term is 64 root 2, because it says that which term is 64 root 2, so that's the nth term which we are supposed to calculate. Now I know that the nth term is equal to A into R to the power n minus 1. That is 64 root 2 is equal to 4 into root 2 to the power n minus 1. So this here it will become, I can like cancel this will become 16. So this is 16 into root 2, that is root 2 to the power n minus 1. Now 16 is nothing but 2 to the power 4. 2 to the power 4 can be written as root 2 to the power 8 into root 2, and that is root 2 to the power n minus 1. So root 2 to the power 9 is equal to root 2 to the power n minus 1. So 9 is equal to n minus 1, which will give us n is equal to 10. So 64 root 2 is the 10th term. It is the 10th term of this geometric progression. It is the 10th term of this geometric progression, and that's your answer. And that's your answer. Easy question, Simply hard to use the relationship, nothing else is required. Alright, so pause the video and try this question number 3, please. Alright, let's try this one. So find the first 4 terms of a geometric progression whose nth term is given as 4 into minus 5 to the power n. So nth term is given as 4 into minus 5 to the power n. You need to calculate the first 4 terms of this GP. You need to calculate the first 4 terms of this GP. So if you want to calculate the first term, then that will become 4 into minus 5 to the power 1, that's minus 20. Want to calculate the second term, so that is 4 into minus 5 square, so that will be 100. So A3 is 4 into minus 5 cube, so that is minus 500, and A4 will be 4 into minus 5 to the power 4, so that will be, I guess, plus 2500. That is plus 2500, or basically you can say that you have a common ratio of minus 5. Once you know the first term, you can keep on multiplying minus 5 in order to get the next term, or in order to get the successive term. That is all that you have to do, nothing. Alright, so pause the video and try this question number 4, please. Alright, so how many terms of the series 5 root 5 25 add up to 155 plus 155 root 5? Now these terms here are basically in geometric progression, because 5 root 5 by 5 will give you root 5. 25 by 5 root 5 will also give you root 5. This is 5, not 2. That will also give you root 5. So the terms are in GP with a common ratio of root 5 and the first term being 5. Okay. Alright, so I have a common ratio which is greater than 1. Now I know the formula to calculate the sum, which is equal to A into r to the power n minus 1 divided by r minus 1. So you can say that 155 plus 155 root 5 is equal to 5 root 5 to the power n minus 1 divided by root 5 minus 1. This will be my expression. Okay. Now I just need to know how to solve this properly. So I'm going to take 155 common on the left hand side. So this will become 1 plus root 5. That will become 5 root 5 to the power n minus 1 divided by root 5 minus 1. And now I'm going to multiply both sides by root 5 minus 1. This will become 155. Now if I'm going to multiply by root 5 minus 1 on both the sides, so this expression when multiplied by root 5 minus 1 will convert into a plus b into a minus b, which is a square minus b square. So that's root 5 square minus 1 square, that's 5 minus 1, which is 4. That's 5 minus 1, which is 4, and that is equal to 5 into root 5 to the power n minus 1. Now I can divide both sides by 5, so this will become 31 into 4 is equal to root 5 to the power n minus 1. So this will become 124 is equal to root 5 to the power n minus 1, or 125 is equal to root 5 to the power n. Now this question is done. If you have 125 is 5 to the power 3, that is root 5 to the power n. 5 to the power 3 is nothing but root 5 to the power 6, which is equal to root 5 to the power n, which will simply give you n is equal to 6. Which will simply give you n is equal to 6. So how many terms will add up to 155 plus 155 root 5? 6 terms will add up to 155 plus 155 root 5. And that's the answer. Alright, let's move on to the next question. So pause the video and try this question, please. Alright, so find the sum to infinity. Now see, this is sum to the infinity. They will only ask you sum up till infinity whenever mod of r is less than 1. And you can observe that your mod of r is nothing but 3 by 4 by 1, which is 3/4. Or you can do 9 by 16 by 3/4, so that is also 3 by 4. Which is basically less than 1. So what's the formula to calculate the sum? The formula is a divided by 1 minus r, which is equal to 1 over 1 minus 3 by 4, which will give you answer as 4 simply. Which will simply give you our answer as 4. So the sum up till infinity of this series approximates to 4. The sum approximates to 4. It's not exactly equal to 4, but it's very close to 4. And basically the answer is, the bottom line is that the answer is 4. That's it, nothing else. You don't need to know anything more than that. Alright, so one last question for this topic. Please try this one. Alright, so in this case, you need to use the basic formula, that is sum is equal to a into r to the power n minus 1 divided by r minus 1. Now in this case, the number of terms are 9 because it's going from 0 to 8. The number of terms are 9 because it's going from 0 to 8. So the first term, it's 1 because it's 2 to the power 0 and the common ratio is 2. Okay. So in this case, the sum becomes 1 2 to the power 9 minus 1 divided by 2 minus 1. It will become 1 into 2 to the power 9 minus 1 divided by 2 minus 1. So the sum is 2 to the power 9 minus 1. Again, now 2 to the power 9 is 512. It will be 512 minus 1, which is equal to 511. And that is all. So like arithmetic progression, GP, it's a fairly simple concept. Okay. The only thing that they can do with you while giving you a question of geometric progression is that they can play with words, they can mess with the language, that's it. Apart from that, it's a fairly simple topic. Like in case of AP, you have a common difference. In case of GP, you have a common ratio. Apart from that, everything else is exactly the same. Nothing else. Okay. Now, if you're preparing for GRE or GMAT, put your more focus on special series, because you're gonna definitely get a question from special series. And if you're preparing for SAT exam, then you need to know the basics of AP and GP. The questions are fairly simple. The concepts can be used in compound interest or in growth and decay questions, or in questions pertaining to stars. Okay, they can use the concepts and the applications of AP and GP also. All of those things will be like starting, don't worry about that. But the concept, if you simply talk about AP and GP, it's a fairly simple and easy concept. You don't need to know anything more than this. Alright then guys, thank you so much for watching the video. Please subscribe to the channel for more videos and exam related content. If you have any concerns, any questions, any suggestions, We are always open. If you require any help, we are always open. How do you have to prepare? How do you have to move on forward? How can I aim 720 in GMAT? How can I aim 325 in GRE? Or how can I aim 1500 plus in SATs? If you have any doubts, if you have any questions, you can always WhatsApp me, you can always mail me. I'm available. I try to be available 24/7, but I will definitely come back to you. Okay. And if you're looking for any personalized classes, individual classes, you can always connect with us. Alright guys, thank you so much. Keep watching and keep learning. That will be all for this video.